What's better than this, just guys being dudes.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Hi, my name's Aleisa, and today I want to talk about healthy male friendships in media, with 3 main examples that I think about all the time. Today I'm covering fun topics such as emotional intelligence and other communications-based things, and you can trust me on this. I have a master's degree in it that I haven't hung up yet. According to Daniel Goleman in his seminal book, Emotional Intelligence, published originally in 1994 with several revisions ever since, emotional intelligence is defined as the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions and the ability to recognize, understand, and influence emotions in others. The 5 different components of emotional skills, according to the emotional intelligence umbrella, are self-regulation, self-awareness, motivation, social skills, and empathy. And these 3 movies, I feel, showcase them so well in male friendships. Now, I am talking about healthy male friendships that are fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to watch a bunch of dumb guys like Dude, Where's My Car? Or Workaholics goof off and do dumb stuff. But I feel it's so much more important and so necessary to show healthy male friendships to model what that looks like for men who struggle with their friendships. The first piece of media I want to talk about is Sex Education. Sex Education is the 2019 teen comedy drama about a teenage boy who's not happy dealing with his sex therapist mother, and he teams up with one of his classmates to open an underground sex clinic at his school. It's a really fun time, and I think one of the best shows that is on right now. Watch it if you haven't. Now, the male friendship that I want to discuss briefly, because it's been analyzed very much recently, is between Eric and Otis. Otis is the protagonist of Sex Education, and Eric is his best friend. Something that you see very often with Otis and Eric's friendship is that they are not afraid to talk about their emotions, which again, that is part of the social skills, empathy, and self-awareness section of emotional intelligence, and they also throw in a lot of physical affection, which you don't really see in platonic male friendships. Eric and Otis share in each other's vulnerabilities, and even in, spoiler alert, season 3, when Otis's mom has a medical emergency, shows a lot of emotional support towards Otis. The entire series is littered with examples like this. They spend a lot of their time together, they're very comfortable with each other, and so on and so forth. So it's a delight to watch 2 men have a healthy relationship, completely platonic, and it's just a fun time. I'm gonna move on to my other 2 examples because, like I said, Eric and Otis's friendship has been discussed a lot since the 3rd season of Sex Education came out. Number 2, back at it again at Krispy Kreme with Magic Mike 2. Listen, have you seen Magic Mike 2? I can hear you complaining about me. Watch Magic Mike 2. It's honestly one of my favorite movies in the whole world! Magic Mike 2, it's actually called Magic Mike XXL, but Magic Mike 2 is easier to say, is the 2015 sequel to the original Magic Mike movie, following what happens to Magic Mike after he decides to leave stripping. Now, why I want to use this movie as an example for healthy male friendships is because even though the characters had to trick Mike to come see them, they all hold each other accountable. And I think that's incredible to see from a group of men. Each of the different men in this movie have such differing personalities that watching them all interact in and of itself is fun. And I think it's more important to note that they are holding each other accountable. They are expressing their vulnerabilities. They are talking about stuff that happened in the past that they're not comfortable with. And they are actively working at their relationships with each other. And they're also stripping. What more could you want in a movie? The main tension in Magic Mike 2 is between Matt Bomer's character and Channing Tatum's character. Matt Bomer's character has taken it harder than the rest of the guys in this film that Magic Mike left them. And initially, even though this character of Matt Bomer's is all peace, love, and light, the whole time he's hanging out with Mike, he's like, I'm gonna peace, love, and light your house on fire, okay? It takes some time, and eventually Channing Tatum and Matt Bomer's characters do come together, they do hash it out, they do talk it out, and then they reconcile. And I think that's so great because Matt Bomer's character is being so petty. The entire movie, it's bringing the whole vibe down. Every other character can notice it, and even other characters are calling out Matt Bomer's character saying, you really need to talk to Mike about this. It's bothering you a lot. Also, there's the integral, most famous scene in that movie where Joe Manganiello is feeling insecure about his ability as a stripper. Oh, someone's calling me. They all take Molly on the tour bus, and then they are trying to get Joe Manganiello's confidence back up by convincing him that if he can make that gas station attendant smile, then he is a successful stripper. Now, on the surface, that sounds absolutely idiotic, but the way that they're providing such emotional support to this 6'5" hunk of man, good for you, Sofia Vergara, it's so fun to watch. So it's kind of like Trojan horsing its way into your heart, much the way Too Hot to Handle did with their stupidity, that it actually touches you on the inside.
Hey, phrase it!
Because as Joe Manganiello was doing his whole routine to Backstreet Boys in this gas station, the boys are outside hyping this man up. It is so wholesome, so nice. Later on in the film, there's a scene where they all have to go to the hospital because they had a car accident, one of them gets hurt, and in that scene, in that scenario, because they're on the come down from the Molly, they're getting mad, they're irritable, they're not having a good time, they're all expressing a lot of vulnerabilities, including Mike himself, who proposed to his girlfriend from the first movie, but she turned him down, and he was so upset about it, saying, I did everything right, and she still said no, so what am I doing? There are plenty of other examples of guys emotionally supporting each other in Magic Mike 2, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about the whole movie for 30 minutes. I could, not going to. The last piece of media I want to talk about is the 1996 movie, no, the 1986 film, Stand By Me. The story follows 4 Oregon boys that learn that somebody was killed in a forest, and they travel all throughout the all throughout the state to get to the dead body to see it, and along the way they learn about each other in ways they didn't know that they would, and about their very different home lives. All the boys do a lot to emotionally support each other, but the stars of the movie are definitely River Phoenix's character Chris and, oh gosh, Gordy, who is played by Will Wheaton. A bulk of the emotional struggles of Gordy's character is that his older brother died tragically, so his parents were so busy grieving that son that they didn't have much time for Gordy. And this is something that he carries throughout the film, and a reason for him to go see this dead body. He fixates on it because he doesn't want to face his own feelings. Throughout this whole adventure, Chris, played by the late River Phoenix, is so unbelievably supportive and understanding and validating of what Gordy is going through, and even has a level of self-awareness in such a small child's frame of reference that you wouldn't really see in a lot of other movies. Now, this movie is pretty dark in the sense that these small children, these young boys, wanted to go see a dead body, but it is very wholesome in the sense that they all love each other very much and help each other through so many things. And all throughout the movie, there is still the innocence of them being boys. They do a lot of things that young boys do. They like goof around, there's fart jokes, and like they roast each other. It's nice to watch. And I wanted to focus on Chris and Gordy's relationship specifically because this is a movie that came out in 1986. In 1986, men's mental health wasn't something that was discussed at all, and I think that's why Stand By Me was so successful, because you had these very young boys talking about dark and heavy subjects on one of the most beloved and classic films of all time. Of course, there is a level of loss of innocence when you find a dead body as a child. The movie is great if you haven't seen it. I do recommend it. It does deal with some heavy topics, so if those are difficult things for you to watch, be very careful, or watch it with a loved one. And at any point, you can just stop watching the movie. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. In conclusion, I wanted to use this video to showcase 3 examples of the many different examples of healthy male relationships in the media, because I think it's important for men and young boys to see that talking about their feelings, emotional processing, venting, feeling their feelings does not make them any less valid, does not make them any less manly. Albeit it will make them even more manly if they learn how to do this, and it will be so much better for them to learn these things. And I hope that in the future we have even more examples of films that show healthy male relationships. I'm sure that seeing Otis and Eric's relationship in Sex Education, which I'm assuming most men are watching now because it is one of the most popular Netflix shows, seeing that must be so validating and so nice that maybe they can get the courage to talk about their feelings and reach out to people that they care about when they need help. Thanks for listening to another one of my film rants. I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you on the next one.